Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for a Friday edition of the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk everything Steelers, Pirates, and Penguins exclusively in that order today. I am your host, Brady Vini, wrapping up another week of Pittsburgh sports news here on the channel. And kind of like what I said earlier in the week, these episodes, throughout the summer are going to be a little bit more monotonous. You're focused on the Pittsburgh Pirates a little bit more because they are the only team in season. You'll get your occasional Pittsburgh Steelers talk as the offseason rolls along. Same thing with the Pittsburgh Penguins. But today, actually, we are leading off with the Steelers. We have got some big news that came down yesterday. Now, nothing, too massive, I would say, that would warrant us to, go live immediately or make a whole big hullabaloo about. But we are making progress, we being the Steelers, in the Aaron Rodgers situation. Reportedly, we'll start off the show talking about this here in a minute. Rodgers is going to be in Pittsburgh really at any moment's notice. Could be sometime this week, could be sometime today. Haven't heard anything on that yet. It could be, sometime on Monday or something. Who the hell knows? But Aaron Rodgers, ladies and gentlemen, is apparently coming to the city of Pittsburgh. We'll dive into that here in a few moments, break down everything that we have on that, talk about, what this means for Rodgers, for the Steelers this year, for the two other young quarterbacks, Drew Aller and Will Howard. Just so much to dive into on that front. How much progress we'll make on that today, who knows? You guys in the comments section, I am very intrigued to hear what you think about this whole Aaron Rodgers situation and the new turn that it just took. And we'll get into the Pirates and Penguins as well. The Buccos staying red hot. Now, they did drop one in pretty disheartening fashion to the Arizona Diamondbacks back on what was it, Wednesday or Tuesday now, I believe, Wednesday, something like that, whenever they started the series. Yeah, Tuesday it was. They had an off day Monday, but they did bounce back, and they bounced back in a big way. They took the last two of the series with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Apologize, lost my train of thought there for a second. And also we'll get into the Penguins, the first moves of this current offseason for Kyle Dubas just went down yesterday. He brought back two players from last year's roster, one that I am very, very stoked about. Glad to see that he is not leaving via free agency. And then to wrap up the show, we'll get into a whole bunch of extra Pittsburgh sports news, some loose end items and stories to talk about that we won't dive too in depth on. But before we officially get things going here on the channel here tonight, if you are new here, welcome to the Steel City Sports Report. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so that you never miss a thing here on the channel. Again, like this live stream, share this live stream, and in the comment section, if you have any thoughts, questions, or opinions on your mind here this evening, please do not hesitate. Get those in the comment section. I enjoy getting feedback from you fine folks, and I'm expecting a good bit of feedback tonight as we talk about the Aaron Rodgers situation. Also, go check out the channel at Steel City SR on Facebook, Instagram, and X, and come back a little bit later on tonight for a new edition of SCSR 60. Without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's hop right into it. Let's try to make this as quick of a live stream as possible here tonight, even though we got a good bit to talk about. Get into the weekend already. The Aaron Rodgers situation with the Pittsburgh Steelers has taken yet another turn this offseason. I mean, we've had multiple deadlines, put those in air quotation marks, about Rodgers, having a deadline. Steelers need an answer by this date. Those have been, a bunch of BS. There's been the whole UFA tender that they placed on Rodgers, limiting what he can do once training camp begins for the Steelers. And now you have this, sort of similar to what Rodgers did last year. Remember, Rodgers sort of incognito mode in a random ass Chevy Malibu. He went and visited the Steelers last offseason. This a little bit later than that, and now Rodgers looks like he is going to be doing it again. This was first broken by the fan morning show of 93.7 The Fan, the Pittsburgh sports radio station, that Rodgers will be paying a visit to the city of Pittsburgh this upcoming weekend. It could have been as soon as today, but I mean, if that meeting hasn't happened yet, then my statement that with that is, when the hell is it going to happen? So doesn't look like Rodgers is going to meet with the Steelers today, but the news is that he will be visiting with the Steelers some point soon. That was from 93.7 The Fan, their morning show yesterday. Also, Ian Rappaport picked up on it as well. I was a little bit skeptical to believe in 93.7 The Fan, but hey, once Rappaport and I believe Jeremy Fowler, Tom Pelisseros, those insiders of the world, when they pick up on this on a similar thing as well, you then take it as factual. The actual tweet here from Rappaport is that Rodgers is expected to visit the Steelers today and this weekend. He will likely play for them in 2026. Agree with that wholeheartedly from Rappaport. This sort of confirms that it's either the Steelers or nothing at all for Aaron Rodgers. Most likely, it is going to be the Steelers for the 44-year-old four-time MVP. All of that stuff about, the Arizona Cardinals, putting out tweets. Are they interested in Rodgers? That's a bunch of BS now. Whatever other team might have had interest in Rodgers, that feels like a bunch of fugazi. Retirement doesn't seem like an option anymore. You've had reports that, Rodgers is talking with McCarthy, at least once a week, maybe even every other day. He's picking up on practice schedules and, asking how minicamp is going to be formatted and all that. He, gave his input on the draft and stuff like that. And now Rodgers coming back to Pittsburgh. Yeah, all of that stuff. And now this on top of it really screams that Rodgers is going to play in that retirement or playing elsewhere is nowhere within sight for him. And now you got to wonder what this meeting is going to be about. To be honest, is it just going to be more of the same, but in person, continued talks of Rodgers with McCarthy, seeing how everything is going to go throughout this new offseason program, mini camp, OTAs, training camp, all of that is going to be a little bit different now that a new coaching staff is in there. I don't know if anything is going to be contract negotiations in this meeting, whether it took place today or this weekend for Rodgers. There have been multiple reports saying that, hey, this is Rodgers just coming in, seeing what's up. No sort of, contract talks whatsoever. I do think, though, that if contract talks were to take place, you're going to see Rodgers get a pay raise. I'm not one of those people out there that is going to, make a whole big storm about Rodgers. Is he going to play for $15 million again or $13 million, whatever the hell he played for last year? I'm not one of those people that say, hey, he either plays with this or he doesn't come at all. I think Rodgers does get a payday at the end of this. Do I want it to be above $30 million? No, I would not say that, but do I expect it to be well above 20? Absolutely. I'm looking more in the 24 to 28 range $million for Rodgers to play this year. That puts him above some of these other quarterbacks that he is clearly, even at age 44, better than, and also gives him, a little bit of a raise because, hey, say what you will about his performance sometimes. He did, at points last year, turn back into a four-time MVP type of player, and also he did, help the Steelers win the division, led them to doing that. So I expect Rodgers to get a payday, but I mean, hey, negotiations reportedly not going to be a part of this meeting. If, not then, when, I don't know. Still think Rodgers is going to sign here before, hopefully, minicamp would be my ideal scenario. But, it could be the end of May, June, something like that for Rodgers. We shall wait and see. Apparently, the Rodgers coming to Pittsburgh, not on the radars of Omar Khan and the Steelers, apparently, as well. This is a little bit unforeseen from Rodgers. It was unforeseen by us, and it sounds like it's a similar thing here for the Steelers. Mark Caboli, the most Debbie Downer of the Steelers insiders. Everything has to have a negative view of it for the Steelers from Mark Caboli. He said Rodgers coming to town to sign with the Steelers. He forgot to tell someone important, the Steelers. And Omar Khan, more or less, confirmed so today on the radio. He joined Westwood One radio station and said he doesn't know where Rodgers is and wouldn't confirm if he's going to be in town for a visit this weekend. The exact quote from Khan right here, quote, "I don't know where specifically Aaron is. We continue to have conversations and they're positive. We had a good experience with him last year. I think he would probably echo the same thing. Conversations continue. I, highly doubt Omar Khan is going to say, oh, yeah, he's in here. We're going to get a deal done and all that. I wasn't expecting that from Khan, but makes you wonder, who's in the right here. We got a bit of a source off. Is Rodgers going to be in this weekend? Is he not? We'll have to wait and see. But hopefully this thing is coming to an end. The fact that there is a report out there that Rodgers could be coming to Pittsburgh, that's at least progress. It's not the same old stalemate cycle that we've been stuck in for the past few months of, oh, yeah, he's talking with Mike McCarthy and all that. And you occasionally get the juicy report of, oh, he talked about practice schedules and something like that. Him being in Pittsburgh for a change is actually, a positive sign. I wish, we hadn't gone down this road again, not meaning, having Rodgers come back. I mean, talking about this whole charade of placating to Rodgers, waiting for him to make a decision and having him, operate on his time compared to the Steelers. That's, more so what I'm upset about. But I mean, hey, at least looks like we're finally going to be coming to an end here. I'm not going to get into the whole, is this good for the Steelers? Is this bad for the Steelers thing today? I do think I could have both opinions here in saying I would like to see the kids, Will Howard, Drew Aller, get their looks this upcoming season, and also that Rodgers would, upon coming into this room, be the best quarterback on staff. I think I'm allowed to say, both things and keep that opinion here. I think at some point we are going to get both here. I'm that type of person. Rodgers, 44-year-old body, he's not going to be able to hold up for the entire season. So I think we can have our cake here and eat it too. The one portion of Steelers fans that loves the Rodgers, they're going to get Rodgers back. He's going to, be the week one starter. It seems like, contract details don't really matter here. He's going to get his money and it's not going to affect the Steelers, all that much. And also, do I think Rodgers is, going to get dinged up at some point this season? I also think that. Now, will he be better? Yes. Is he still going to get dinged up? Also, yes. I mean, it's not me being mean saying I hope Rodgers gets hurt. That's, far from what I'm saying here. It's just, nature. 44-year-old body isn't going to, absorb contact as well as some of the younger guys. It's not going to heal as fast. And then that situation, then you get your look at Howard or a Drew Aller or something like that. So at the end of the day, this journey that is, quite unnecessary, but hey, we went on it again here with the Steelers. It looks like it is going to come to an end, hopefully soon here, at least by the end of the month, hopefully. But at least Rodgers is coming to town, apparently some point this weekend. Like I said, nothing on it today of whether, Rodgers was going to be in the building today. I did not see any of that. I'm sure there are tons of super sleuth Steeler reporters, down at the facility on the south side today. Also, because I think rookie OTAs just began today. We'll get to that here in a second. I'm sure people were monitoring every single door in and out of that Steelers facility today, but nothing reportedly on Rodgers yet. Moving over from Rodgers to the other big Steelers news here today. Like I just said, Steelers minicamp taking place here today. And we got our first looks at Maxi Hornachor, Drew Aller, Jeremy Bernard, those types of guys. The official Steeler rookie minicamp roster is now out, and we got a couple of interesting additions today. You got a new punter in the building, Ryan Stonehouse. He's a legit NFL punter, and bringing in that Stonehouse, you got Cameron Johnston on roster right now. They brought in the big punter from Penn State and Wosu. I forget his first name right now. Could there legitimate be a punting battle on our hands for the Steelers? I know Concepts in the comment section. He is going to be absolutely thrilled about that. Also, some former Pitt players, my alma mater, are attending Steelers rookie minicamp as well. Raphael Poppy Williams, a nice little wide receiver for Pitt, was pretty much the number 2 for Pitt last year. Could have been, their number 1. But, Mason Heinchel made him look really good. A pair of linebackers as well, Joseph Zielinski and Brandon George. George was an undrafted free agent last year, hopped on with the Kansas City Chiefs rookie minicamp roster, and I don't think he played anything for the Chiefs last year. Looking at some other notable names on the Steelers rookie minicamp roster, J.J. Galbraith, tight end, He is back. Same thing for defensive tackle. Kyler Baugh, Doug Nestor, offensive lineman, Aiden Williams, Stephen Jones. These are all guys that, are returning. Max Hurlman, we remember him, wore number 84 last year. People thought Hurlman could find himself, sort of a gadget guy role in the Steelers offense. For the rookies here, of course, all the draft picks: Aller, Bernard, Everett, Spears, Jennings, Heidenreich, Nowakowski, Weegen. I'm going to try to stop doing that. I see Caden Weegen's name, and I immediately go to Wetjen here. Almost feels like the Swiffer Wetjet mop or whatever that appliance is. But Caden Weegen is there as well. Maxi Hornature, Jennings Dunker, all of the various UFA or UDFAs that the Steelers signed. You got Devin Boykin, the safety from Indiana, Laith Marjan, the kicker, Kevin Jobity Jr., defensive lineman from Syracuse, a couple of tight ends, Lake McCree, Chimon Mateer, and then you got the tryout players here. Rashad Battle, another former Pitt Panther. I believe he is a veteran as well. Got, don't think drafted, but was an undrafted free agent a few years ago. Poppy Williams, Ryan Stonehouse, Joseph Zielinski, Gabriel Nwosu, that's his first name, the punter from Penn State. Also, you got fullback Alex Texa from Navy, teammate of Eli Heidenreich, Brandon George, who I just said from Pitt, and I think that's just about it. Jacob Bobbin-Moyer, long snapper from Northern Colorado. So a pretty big list for Steelers and rookie minicamp. But of course, all eyes are going to be on the draft class players, especially, Aller, Bernard, Hornature, Dunker, possibly even Dalen Everett, Caden Weegen, guys that are legitimately going to have an impact on this team throughout the upcoming season. And bit of news on the Steelers draft class today as well. 3 of those draft picks, I believe 10 draft picks that the Steelers made, 3 of them reached agreements with the team today. Weegen, defensive tackle Gabriel Rubio, and 7th round safety Robert Spears Jennings, they agreed to contracts today. You're going to see, usually with every team, all of the later round guys get deals done first. They're the easiest contracts to get done because there's no real negotiation leverage from those guys and where they were drafted. You will see, maybe Aller, Bernard, Hornature, those guys might be a week or so, maybe even a couple weeks off from now before they sign. And also, this is a little bit obscure, but hey, I like it, and fans like breaking down this stuff as well. The jersey numbers finally out there for the Steelers players here today. Some of them are great. Some of them are yikes. Have no idea how he's going to look in that. Let's start from the top here, work our way down. Drew Aller wearing number 16. How do we feel about Aller wearing number 16? Everybody out there who owns a Ben Skoranek number 15 jersey, they can now exhale with a sigh of relief. Aller wearing number 16 actually fits him quite nice. 16 and 18 battling it out. The 2 young guys, Howard and Aller. That's going to set up for a fun preseason. Jeremy Bernard, he goes with number 17. I thought Bernard might go, 10 or 13, something like that. Also thought if Aller went different, that Bernard could take 16. But 17 for Jeremy Bernard, that would look pretty sick on him. Gives you Mike Wallace vibes. Dalen Everett, corner out of Georgia, he takes number 23. He has big shoes to fill with big play against Slay leaving last year. So Everett is going to take over number 23. Robert Spears Jennings, the safety, will take over number 28. That's actually quite fitting that Robert Spears Jennings, the 7th round safety, he gets number 28 because that was Miles Killebrew, his old number. And Killebrew, of course, special teams ace for the Steelers. And I project Spears Jennings with the just freak athleticism that he has to be a special teams ace for new special teams coordinator Danny Crossman. Eli Heidenreich, number 29, pretty fitting for a dude who's going to be splitting time between wide receiver and running back. Riley Nowakowski, tight end from Indiana, he's going to be listed as a fullback for the Steelers. So he gets a pretty odd number of number 37, and even a weirder number than that, Caden Weegan, who's going to be primarily a special teams contributor as a return man. His primary position besides return man is wide receiver. He gets number 42. When is the last time that we had a wide receiver wear a number in the 40s? I wonder. That is really, really strange, to be honest with you. And I'm hoping that that's a case, for Weegan's sake, because that is a little bit weird. James Pierre's old number going to a wide receiver. I'm really hoping that that's just a case of him getting a number, and then he switches back to, a number in the 10s or 80s once, rosters get trimmed down. So Caden Weegan wearing number 42. Very, very interesting. Maxie Hornature, of course, is going to wear number 71. We knew that one for a little bit now. Then the one everybody's been waiting for. What is the number that third-round guard Jennings Dunker is going to be wearing? He's going to wear number 73. Now, I know all the men out there are a little bit disappointed. He didn't go with his college number 67 or number 69 for obvious reasons, but he goes with number 73, and that one actually fits Dunker, in my opinion, because apparently 73 is going to be the number for offensive linemen with sick hair. I mean, Isaac Seumalo, the last couple of years, he wore 73. We all know, the big Polynesian hair that he got. I believe Craig Wolfley, former Steelers offensive lineman, back in his playing days, he had sick hair, and now Dunker gets to pick up that role there for the Steelers. Sick off big, nasty offensive lineman with sick hair wearing number 73. And then the last one, going to try my best. I know other people besides me have had trouble with this. Gabriel Rubio. You so badly, when you see the name Rubio, want to say Marco Rubio. Gabriel Rubio, he will wear number 96. We'll see if he even makes the roster because, still bamboozled. I think we all are by the pick of Gabriel Rubio, a guy that we all did not necessarily know. As a matter of fact, nobody really knew who he was when the Steelers drafted him in the 6th round, but he's here now. Hopefully he does good things. So that is the latest that we have on the Steelers today, ladies and gentlemen. Rookie minicamp is going to be getting underway here shortly for the Steelers. All the rookies in the Steelers building today getting, all suited and booted with helmets and pads and stuff, equipment-wise. They get their numbers. A couple of them get signed, but most importantly, Aaron Rodgers looks like that thing is going to be coming to an end, hopefully soon. It's at least, the positive outlook of this, of him visiting the Steelers building supposedly today or at some point this weekend. First things first, let's make sure Rodgers actually gets in the building, and then we'll go from there in terms of contract talk. But what do you say about this whole Aaron Rodgers reportedly going to pay a visit to Pittsburgh this weekend? What say you in the comment section? We'll go there now. 10 of you in here. Welcome to this nice little crowd here on a Friday evening. Any thoughts, questions, or opinions that you have on the Rodgers situation, get in the comment section now. A couple of commenters already. Concepts in here. Echelon in here as well. Welcome back, Echelon. Been a good bit for you. Truth Thong in here as well. Welcome back, Truth. We'll start at the top here with Echelon. Aaron Rodgers back in the Berg. Here we go. You got that type of reaction there from Mr. Concepts. You got the optimistic Steelers fans view of bringing back Rodgers, and then you got Echelon here. Let's go 10-7 once again. All jokes aside, I'm taking this season for what it is, and that's a mid-tier team being competitive, and I'm excited to watch the preseason. 16 Drew to the moon, please God. Okay, so we got Echelon nailed down as a big Drew Aller guy. I mean, yeah. Am I willing to go down the road and immediately stamp this team as a 10-7 team again, and that's going to get bounced in the first round of playoffs? I'm not going to go there yet. Is it still, highly likely? Yes, but I put it more at a likelihood of 60% that happens compared to if Mike Tomlin were here, a 90 to 95% chance that happens again. I do want to, unlike, some other people out there, and I'm trying to remind myself of this every time we talk about the Steelers as a team, but more importantly, the offense. I do want to see how it looks like with Mike McCarthy. This is, even though people make the jokes, 10-7, they brought in, they swapped one Mike with another, and they both have similar track records. I do want to see how this new, offensive minded approach to the Steelers goes, at least for the first few weeks of the season here. So we'll see what happens. And like I said, you say at the end there, 16 Drew to the moon, please. Do I think Rodgers is, upon coming back to Pittsburgh, stepping back into the building again, is he the best quarterback option the Steelers have? Yes. Also, are you going to see Howard and Aller at some point this season? I think that there's a really good likelihood of that happening as well, because Rodgers, it's just nature. 44-year-old ain't going to make it through the entire, trials and tribulations of a full season here. Rodgers will also help the rest of the roster develop to a zero experienced quarterback, would stunt the growth of the O-line, wide receivers, running backs, etc., and would hurt the defense too, like Kenny's constant 3-and-outs. Agreed there. I mean, that's one thing that gets constantly overlooked with Rodgers coming back. People tend to focus on he's old, he's washed. We ended up in the same place with Rodgers as we did with all the other quarterbacks. Well, you want this team to really get immersed in the new schemes of the team. How about having a guy leading the charge that has been in this offense before? And Rodgers knows this offense like the back of his hand. He can recite play calls in his sleep from this McCarthy offense. And I think that's going to do well for, getting Drew Aller and Will Howard up to speed in the new offense. God, willing that they get into a game at some point this season. The offensive line, they're going to be put in best positions because Rodgers knows the blocking schemes that Coach Campen, the new offensive line coach, is going to put in there. So he's going to know to set up his offensive line in the best way to protect against whatever the defense throws his way. And Rodgers is going to know how to protect himself against a rush when he sees something coming. And then the wide receivers, Pittman, Metcalf even, he's new to the offense, but he's still been here. Pittman's new. Bernard is brand new. You got some other receivers as well. Having Rodgers, making sure they're on their P's and Q's, knowing everything in the offense, knowing it just as well as he does. That's going to be good as well. And hopefully that offense continues to improve on not constantly going 3-and-out, like you say there. Concepts. Extremely mobile quarterbacks seem overrated outside of Hurts, who is a freak of nature strength-wise and is a high-character leader. Even his limits passing 100 them last year. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to say, hey, you don't need a mobile quarterback. You do. And Rodgers, thankfully, was at least a little bit mobile last year. But I still would like to see a mobile quarterback with this team. I mean, you need a quarterback that, yes, has pocket presence, can stand in there and fire the pill without any sort of, wavering with pressure and such. But you do need a guy to escape every now and again. Rodgers is still, declining in that aspect. But, I mean, you look, all of the good quarterbacks in the NFL, they don't necessarily, they aren't necessarily runners first, but they do stand in there in the pocket and deliver, and they do escape pressure. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, before, the injury. We'll see if that's still the case with him. Justin Herbert, Hurts, as you mentioned, even Lamar Jackson. I mean, he was a run-first type guy, but he developed into more of a pocket passer. So we'll see if Rodgers can be good enough as a pocket passer to, make up for what will be eventually his complete and total lack of mobility. Hoping for this, Drew Aller equals Justin Herbert at least. I mean, sky's the limit with Aller if you can fix him. I mean, there's no, I don't get still why people were so upset about taking him in the third round. I mean, you can argue about the spot in the third round. That's one thing, but taking a shot on Aller, period, is worth it for me. I mean, you look at it, dude can make all the throws on the field. He's got a cannon of an arm. He's mobile enough to escape pressure, kind of like what we were just talking about. He's big, can take punishment, see over the line, do all of that. It's just a matter of working on the niche areas of his game that, have a big impact. It's, footwork. It's reading the defense. It's, not breaking down when pockets closing in around him. It's working on his accuracy on the short and intermediate stuff. No doubt, Drew Aller does have that ceiling of a Justin Herbert, and I'm going to give him Mike McCarthy, I should say, a little bit of time to see if you can get that out of Aller. You definitely would not have a single prayer of seeing a Drew Aller ceiling as high as what it is right now if Mike Tomlin and staff we're still here. So we'll see what we get out of Aller. Should be a fun preseason. Drew Aller versus Will Howard in the preseason. That is going to be very enticing to watch here. Tried out for punter, got left at. Sorry, I'm not 6'6", 300 pounds like Gabriel Mosley. Yeah, concepts. You've been the number one guy on here in terms of finding out who the punter is going to be. I will say, it's a fun topic for a rainy day. It does seem like there is legitimately going to be some sort of a punting battle. They brought back Cameron Johnston, but we remember he's still, coming off of injury and bounced around a couple places since he left Pittsburgh. And now you bring in the big guy, Gabriel Nwosu. We'll see how he bombs it. I'm sure, 6'6", 300 pounds. He's going to be a force to reckon with in terms of, punt tackling as well, punt protection. And, you brought in, Ryan Stonehouse, I say. He's a legit NFL punter that I've heard of before. I believe he's a former Tennessee Titan. Might have been a former Miami Dolphin as well. I think he might have had some crossover with Danny Crossman. So no, sort of pun intended with that saying there. But we'll see here how the punting battle goes. I'm sure Concepts is going to be the number one Steeler fan paying attention to that battle, should there be a real one there. Max Earlman was fun in the preseason. Definitely worth at least a practice squad spot. Yeah, I agree. He might be the type of guy, Earlman. Does he have return abilities? I can't remember if he was a return guy at all in the preseason a couple of years ago. Definitely, stash him away on your practice squad. He's kind of like an Eli Heidenreich type dude. You can align him in the backfield, align him up out as a slot receiver or something like that, produce on special teams. Maybe he's the first guy you call, God forbid, Caden Weegan goes down and, Heidenreich gets injured, something like that. He'd be the first guy that, sort of fills that role that can come in. Echelon here, Drew Allard to DK Pittman and Jeremy Bernard. I believe they, what's his nickname? I'm trying to pick up on Jeremy Bernard's nickname. If you guys remember it, please let me know. Isn't it like the infection or something like that, or the virus? Something like that. That's a nickname for Jeremy Bernard. Very appropriate. He can't be trash. Just throw it up and make a couple of throws across the field. I'm not going to, do that with Aller and just say, hey, throw it up to one of these guys deep down field. Do I say that if you were to put in a Howard or an Aller, that they will be put in a very, very damn good spot to succeed compared to, some of the other quarterbacks? Kenny Pickett, to name one, Justin Fields, another, even though he was a bit of a reclamation project. Yeah, I will say that this group of at least weapons around the quarterback position, excellent top two wide receivers there, and Metcalf and Pittman. Bernard work in the slot. Tight end, you still got Muth and Darnell Washington. Say what you will about wide receiver depth, but at least the top of the top guys, the creme de la creme, those are going to be awesome here for the Steelers quarterbacks. Dunker better be a dog because I wanted Ioane. I'm talking at least a second team all-pro type of player. I'm sick of this team. I'm with you there, Echelon, about Dunker needs to be a dog. I'm going to, hold out hope that he is going to be that. He, takes the right approach to football and he plays with the appropriate nastiness and physicality. But I am curious, people say, oh, he's going to kill it at guard. Well, he's got to adapt to that position first. He's going from right tackle to playing on the interior, which I don't think he played at in college at all. And I'm with you in the Ioane, in the Ioane boat right there. I was absolutely pissed that the Ravens got Ioane. We were staring at that pretty much all pre-draft, off-season there, because felt like Ravens and Ioane were a perfect match for each other. Ravens had the need for an interior offensive lineman, and it felt like all the high-profile tackles were going to go off the board first, and sure enough, that's what ended up happening. So I'm hoping that I was overglazing Ioane and that he turns out to be something not to worry about for the next decade or so here for the Steelers. Truth here, Rodgers needs to go. It's like the Steelers are the woman. Yeah, I'm not going to get into that, but I mean, it is something that I wish we didn't need to go through again. Rooney and it's Rooney first and foremost there. Just waiting for Rodgers. Holding out hope he's going to be coming back. You're the last person without a date for the prom, and you're waiting for this last person to make up their mind whether they're going with you or not. I wish they would just, have given an ultimatum to Rodgers by now, and I would have done it. Go back a couple of months now before free agency, and then you can move forward with your draft and something like that, and just rip off the Band-Aid here and look for something new. But hey, we're going with Rodgers. Can't wait to see Rodgers with an actual NFL offense around him. Last year, they set him up for failure, and he overachieved by miles. Can't wait. Let's not leave, Rodgers without blame here as to how that offense went. I mean, there were certain points last year where Rodgers did look like an old man and did struggle, without any sort of, effect or contribution from the offensive line or weapons. And, Rodgers, he did not to the extent of his New York Jets day, but he did make sure that he got his favorite guy, Marquez Valdez Smith, back in the fold. I know it's Scantling, but we call him Smith here on the channel. Adam Thielen, I'm sure, was a Rodgers guy as well. And I mean, yeah, did Rodgers overachieve? Yes, but is he necessarily blame-free from last year's offensive struggles? No, he was still a part of it. How big of a part is up to interpretation here. Echelon here, let's be clear, I'm not a Drew Aller guy. I'm a find a damn franchise quarterback guy, and technically he has the highest potential since any quarterback we've drafted since 2006, so I'm begging that he is good for my sanity. I didn't mean to, peg you as a Drew Aller guy like that. I am in the same boat with you. I mean, I'm to the point where don't care what your name is, don't care your background or where you come from, what college you went to. If you, come from a lineage of long-time football players, or, if you just picked up the game a few months ago, I'm all in the boat of just get a damn guy at this point. I'm with you there, Echelon. Aaron, my goat, win a playoff game, shut them up, says Echelon. Let's see here what else we got. Finally got an offensive-minded guy. Go score and average 28.5 a game, please. Yeah, I mean, we saw a pretty healthy uptick in Steelers offensive production last year, and then it wavered down the stretch. Hopefully now that you got McCarthy, a guy that Rodgers knows very well, and vice versa, and they know how to run this offense to its highest efficiency. Hopefully you do get something around that 28.5 a game. And then you really put pressure on your defense too, which I'm all for. They were the highest paid defense. They deserve all the pressure. Offense scores 28.5 points a game. The defense got to hold up their end of the bargain and not get blown out not get blown out defensively like how they did against the Packers and stuff like that. So let's see the defense step up here as well. Everyone claimed Aller would fall to pick 85 or 80 or 99. Those are the exact same people that claimed Beck would fall to the fourth round. Total BS. Wouldn't have not have fallen, and he didn't. Yeah, I mean, I'm in that boat kind of as well. I don't get, all the hate around 76 pick. In my mind, you switch the spots, that imaginary swap the spots between where you drafted Dunker and Aller. I'm calling that a win. You still got, a solid offensive lineman and a pretty decent corner in my book in the third round as well. I'm not going to complain about where we drafted the quarterback. And once Beck went off the board, I was wondering, hey, Drew Aller is really the only guy that I'm taking a shot on here, in round 5 or above. And they ended up doing that there. So in quarterback, position, always going to get inflated in the draft. We all know that here. Last move the Steelers need to make is get a speedster on offense, like a Rashid Shaheed type of guy, and the offense will be completely versatile, and not Calvin Austin. Well, yeah, I mean, don't think Shaheed or Austin are going to be any sort of help to this team. Shaheed is, I think, didn't he re-sign with Seattle? I think Shaheed signed with Seattle, and Calvin Austin is with the New York Ravens now, or yeah. Do we call them the Baltimore Giants or the New York Ravens? Because seemingly every ex-Raven went to Baltimore or went to the Giants this offseason, other than Tyler Linderbaum. Imagine DK Pittman and Jeremy Bernard and a 6'1" speedster that can make plays. I wouldn't mind that. Now, the Steelers did have a half-decent wide receiver in my book still on the free agent market the past few days, but he is now gone. Was saving this for the extra Pittsburgh sports news, but Jawan Jennings, who we talked about here for at least, every so often, he's ended up signing with the Minnesota Vikings. If you got a list here in front of you, I'm not going to look it up right now. If we have a list of remaining free agent wide receivers, I'll say, hey, would like this guy, but let's see what we get out of Pittman, Bernard, and DK, and then let's see how these depth guys do throughout the training camp, and then maybe you can bring in a guy midway through training camp, see what the youngsters guys get first. Maybe Roman Wilson surprises us. Maybe Ben Skoranek, sees an elevator role, even though he's best suited as a special teams guy. Maybe Caden Weegan is more than a return guy. Want to see that first before we go back to the wide receiver. Well, 8 of you hanging around in here right now. Welcome to the Steel City Sports Report. About 45 minutes into the show here tonight, and we have just talked a bunch of Steelers. Lots of it centered around Aaron Rodgers, and I'm sure the Aaron Rodgers stuff is going to continue until he finally puts pen to paper. Could be this weekend, could be at the end of the month, could be until, people start moving into Latrobe at St. Vincent. But at least Rodgers is going to pay a visit to the Steelers here soon enough. Going to move into some other topics here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Looking at the baseball team now. Going to move over to the battling Pittsburgh Buccos, and good news for the Bucks. We were here on Wednesday, and the Bucks were coming off an ugly, just terrible 9-0 loss at the hands of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Pitching was rough, defense was horrid, and the bats had really no answer for starter of the Diamondbacks, Eduardo Rodriguez. And in the Bucks, they did what they have kind of done all season to this point. They find a way to overcome adversity, no matter how big and small, or big or small, and find a way to get a series W. And that is indeed what they did going back the past 2 days. Back on Wednesday, the streak breaker. Well, him and Mitch Keller are sort of battling for that title so far this season. Paul Skeens on the bump back on Wednesday, and Skeens, man, delivered in every way possible. It was the Paul Skeens show. 8 innings pitched, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 7 strikeouts. Yeah, he's really, really starting to pencil himself back in as a shoe-in guy for the Cy Young Award. Skeens, unbelievable in that game. Through 97 pitches, fans made a big hullabaloo. He was up to 97 in the 8th inning, or through 8 innings. People were saying, "Oh, you got to send him out to the 9th inning to finish it off." I wasn't necessarily too worried about them pulling Skeens. Save that extra, 10, 11 pitches that would have taken him well over 100 for another day later in the season. But Skeens was outstanding. His ERA now on the year for Skeens is 2.36, which isn't shocking. It's, still awe-inspiring, even though it's not shocking from that big blow-up performance in the first game of the year. Skeens now back to a 2.36 ERA. Since that opening day debacle against the Mets, Skeens, his ERA and WHIP in that time frame, 109 ERA, 056 WHIP. He is untouchable right now, Paul Skeens, and makes you feel fortunate to witness greatness every single time you turn on Paul Skeens in a Pirates uniform. He is just outstanding right now. The only run in that game back on Wednesday for the Bucks came via a Brandon Lau first inning home run, and first inning Brandon Lau is, on levels with Barry Bonds and Roberto Clemente at this point. Dude, in the first inning, his first at-bat of the game, he is going yard more often than not. So Brandon Lau swinging a hot bat right now. His run, the only one that the Bucks scored back on Wednesday, it was a 1-0 win. Gregory Soto finished it out for the Buccos. Soto has been maybe one of the best relief pitchers in all of baseball. Not going to lie. He has been a hell of an off-season pickup by Ben Cherington. Hats off to him in that acquisition. And then you go to yesterday's ball game. The Buccos back at it again. Mitch Keller coming off a phenomenal previous start, back to work for the Pirates. And Keller had a bit of a erratic start to the game yesterday. Pitched 50 pitches in, I think, the first 3 innings. Wasn't locating all that well. Ended up giving up 2 runs to the Diamondbacks. One was a Corbin Carroll solo home run, but then he dialed it back in as the game went along, really showing some veteran savviness and ability to adapt there. And Keller, at the end of the day yesterday, ended up going 6 full innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Pitched only 84 pitches. I thought maybe he could have gone a 7th, but hey, the bullpen, they were pretty fresh after, Skeens gave them virtually a day off the day before. So the bullpen came in. They did their job. Dennis Santana, Mason Montgomery, I think Isaac Mattson had a bounce-back performance. Gregory Soto, again, finished it out. He is absolute nails right now. The Buccos yesterday winning 4-2. Offensive production. I think Brandon Lau, again, had a solid showing. Brian O'Hearn, Brian Reynolds, they had a couple of mid-inning RBIs. I think Spencer Horwitz had an RBI as well. Joey Bart, how about that? Production from a catcher. Take a picture. It rarely happens. He had a home run, his 2nd of the season. So 4-2 final score yesterday, and the Bucs, they do it again. They may lose, the first or last game of the series, but you bet your ass that more often than not, they are winning at least 2 games out of a 3-game series. And that's the least you can hope for, or that's the best case scenario you can hope for the Bucs right now. I would say, still the NL Central, it is an absolute dogfight division. Teams in the division are still, winning more often than not. I think the Cincinnati Reds are having a bit of a fall from grace in the span of a week. They went from first in the division to last. That tells you how tightly contested the National League Central Division is right now. And the Bucs, they're winning series, taking 2 out of 3. That's, you'll take that right now. Keep not necessarily treading water. I don't think that's, as good of a description I can give right now, but they're keeping up with the pack. That's what we can hope. And the Buccos, hopefully they continue their success. They defang the Snakes out in Arizona, take 2 of 3. They get punched in the mouth game 1, but punch back in games 2 and 3. And now they start a new series later on tonight. I'm going to be totally honest. When we reconvene back here on Monday, you aren't going to get all that best, in-depth analysis on the Buccos, because they are out in San Francisco taking on the Giants, and 2 of the 3 games in the series are 10:40 start times, something like that. So late nights, and it's probably going to be, one of those things. Hey, here's the score, here's who produced, here's who didn't, and move on from there. No sort of massive in-depth analysis coming there. And also, congrats to Buccos manager Donnie Kelly. Officially 1 year ago today, Don Kelly took over as the Buccos interim manager before being named manager in the offseason. So we're 1 year into the Donnie Ball era. And if I am not mistaken, I think Kelly is 1 or 2 wins away from being 500 as a manager. I believe last I checked, he was like 78 and 81, something like that. And could very well, with another good series here for the Bucs, get to 500 as a major league manager. So good luck to Donnie Kelly in that conquest. And also talking about the other Pittsburgh sports team besides the Steelers and the Pirates, the Penguins. Some offseason talk about them. It could be, a fairly quiet, news cycle on the Penguins here for the next couple weeks until the NHL playoffs expire. But once draft season and free agency rolls around, you expect a ton of news surrounding the Penguins. And the Pens did begin their free agent cycle by re-signing a couple of pending free agents yesterday. This one here that you see on your screen, I am especially stoked about. The Bucs bringing back depth forward, very productive fourth liner and penalty killer Connor Dewar on a 2-year deal. Dewar, his 2-year deal is $4.5 million. That comes out to $2.25 million per year. That is more than appropriate price tag for Dewar. I mean, dude had a career year in terms of goals and points. He is a special team penalty kill, more specifically extraordinaire. Was an absolute lightning rod player on that awesome fourth line for the Pens, and bringing him back for 2 years, having Blake Lizotte, who the Pens extended mid-season this past season for 3 years, Dewar, Lizotte back on the fourth line together for the Pens. Yeah, that'll play. So good job with Kyle Dubas on that front, bringing back Dewar. Dewar, after this season, said he feels like it's a great fit for him here in Pittsburgh, said that the culture is a big reason and that everybody wants to work hard. Well, now he gets to simmer in that culture and fill that great fit role for the next 2 years. The other signing yesterday for the Penguins, they brought back depth defenseman Ilya Solovyov on a 1-year contract extension. No real reason to be, upset or gung-ho over this signing as well. It's a good, signing at the end of the day. Bring back Solovyov, guy the Pens picked up mid-season, ended up being, your seventh defenseman, filling in there when guys get hurt or their play goes to hell. And Solovyov did pretty much what you expect from a depth defenseman, and he's going to be filling that role next year for the Pens. So 2 re-signings, I should say, for GM Kyle Dubas, the first 2 moves of his hopefully busy offseason for the Pens. Brings back 2 players deserving of getting re-upped. And now we move on to hopefully the elephant in the room if you're Kyle Dubas. Evgeny Malkin, reports were earlier this week that Malkin and his agency representation would be contacting Kyle Dubas about meeting up and discussing Malkin's future and maybe a possible return. Dubas, I think, is the one that needs most convincing in that situation. And since that report earlier this week, nothing on the Malkin front. I'm hoping this isn't something where it goes radio silence for weeks at a time, and I'm hoping that Malkin ends up coming back here on a 1-year deal, $5 million. Doesn't seem, all that difficult to do if you're Kyle Dubas, especially. I know Dubas has his vision of getting younger and, sticking to his plan of getting this team back to contention. But, the Malkin re-signing, bringing him back, makes all the sense in the world. He's not blocking anybody. He's going to be cheap, still productive, loves the organization, players, people behind the scenes. They love him as well, and hopefully that's next on the agenda for Kyle Dubas, bringing back Evgeny Malkin. But hey, good start. Connor Dewar, Ilya Solovyov, welcome back to the city of Pittsburgh. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a little bit more fast-paced in the past few minutes. We're going to get into the extra Pittsburgh sports news of the day here in a matter of moments. 5 of you still hanging in here as we are approaching an hour into the live stream here this evening. Back here to the comment section here. We'll, I think, get back into some Steelers talk here, extra Steelers news here in a moment. Echelon here. Any super early predictions for camp winners? Ooh, that is a good one. Well, I think the obvious one would be Eli Heidenreich. I think fans are going to see him get used versatility-wise a little bit, and him being a Pittsburgh kid, fans are going to be gravitationally pulled towards Heidenreich. Drew Aller, looks like a guy that could be a camp darling, especially when he uncorks that first deep ball. Dunker, of course, could be a camp darling. I think he's going to adapt well to guard. I want to, not get, my hopes sky high for Dunker yet. I want to see him, look the part at guard, but I believe he will. Defensive side of the ball, who's going to look good? Camp guy. Let me real quick here, just so, I know everybody here. Who are the guys here? Camp bodies. Yeah, Max Hurlman. He could be a guy looking at the veterans here. One guy who I think could be a a nice camp, not necessarily MVP, but a guy who, could provide more competition for, a depth spot at his position than what may realize. JJ Galbraith, tight end. I thought he had a good preseason last year for the Steelers in a good camp. And I mean, you're tight end 3 right now. You're leaving Riley Nowakowski, who you just drafted strictly as a fullback. That leaves tight end 3 wide open. Yeah, you signed Jaheim Bell, but I'm not going to let Jaheim Bell just be given the TE3 spot. So Galbraith could make a spot for himself there, as could the other 2 tight ends they brought. Lake McCree, I really liked in this past draft class. Block first type of guy, but you get the ball in his hands, he's going to, be hard to bring down. Chamon Mateer from Arizona State, 6'4", 255, similar build to McCree. I'd look out for those guys as well. Weegan, if Caden Weegan is, half of the return man he was in college, and he shows that in the preseason, he's going to be a camp guy as well. And also, just on terms of, really looks like a Steeler guy and a type of dude that fans would love to see not only bomb the ball, but, go out there and lay a hit. Gabriel Nwosu, the punter from Penn State. Wouldn't mind seeing him get to show off that size and heavy hitting ability that he may have on, a punt return tackle, something like that. So we'll see. And of course, the pick guys as well. I'm always going to have a soft spot for my alma mater guys. You got Rashad Battle, the DB. Saw what he did at Pitt. He was pretty decent. Poppy Williams could be a slot demon in the preseason against third and fourth stringers. Brandon George, linebacker, one of the Sharks for Pitt. He could end up pushing maybe a Carson Bruner or something like that for a depth linebacker spot, but we'll have to wait and see. Very early, like you said, super early predictions for camp winners. Let's see how they look here in rookie mini camp and OTAs and stuff like that first. Looking here at Twitter, seeing if there is anything else new that has popped off since we have been live. Do we have any Aaron Rodgers news? I wonder. Highly doubt it, but hey, you never know. This is pretty cool here as I scroll through Twitter, looking at some of the new stuff. It is official from Topps. I'm getting to be a big time card collector here on the channel. Paul Skeens going to be a cover player on the new Topps Series 2 2026. That is going to be available for pre-order coming up on Monday. Got Paul Skeens on the cover with Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Sandy Koufax, and Willie Mays. So tons of star power there. 2 Hall of Famers, 2 future Hall of Famers, especially in Skeens' case. Let's see, is there anything else going on here that is new? Of course, I'm seeing Arizona Diamondbacks stuff. Doesn't really matter, but because the Bucks just beat them, gonna see a bunch of it. Ben Kindle, I'm seeing him as him doing some golf. Let's see there. Man, already out on the tee box there. Ben Kindle. What's this here? Apparently this from ESPN. Steelers' biggest issue now currently on their roster, wide receiver depth. Talked about that at the beginning of the show. I think we all agree with that there. Wide receiver depth. Not going to be Jawan Jennings. Could be someone else still hanging around there. Did see someone put out a interesting post today. Said out of all the rookies getting their new numbers, nobody took number 19. And then, of course, they say saving number 19 for the king to reclaim his crown, and it was Juju Smith-Schuster. Yeah, highly doubt Juju's going to be the guy. Highly doubt also that, some of these other big, star players who are, kind of getting out of their prime, if not out of their prime. Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs. Don't see either of those gentlemen being Steelers as well. So before anybody brings it up. Going to immediately put the kibosh on that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get on with it. Wrapping up the Pittsburgh sports news on this Friday, May 8th. Extra Pittsburgh sports news today. Let's get back into football talk here for a second. Got a good bit of extra Steelers news today as well, and we'll sort of bounce all over. This whole Steelers, phone gate thing, just came up with that name on the spot. The whole thing, night one of the draft, calling Mekhi Lemon and all of that, it just continues to look worse for the Steelers. We saw the Cowboys side of things in a release by the NFL. Now we've seen the Eagles side of it as well. Trying to get a hold of Mekhi Lemon, trading up with the Cowboys, just continues to look bad for the Steelers. Eagles posted to their YouTube page the whole draft room, behind the scenes look at things. And Howie Roseman saying, can we not get him on the phone? And they showed Omar Khan talking to Lemon again. It's just continued to be embarrassing. I know, I still like parts of the Steelers draft. I love Maxie Hornachore and the ceiling he has at tackle. I'm starting to really, really like the idea of switching Troy Falatanu back over to left tackle, where we know he can still be just as good. He, was a first-round pick because of the work he did at left tackle in college, and Hornachore's got, silky movements to where he can be one of the best right tackles in football if he reaches his ceiling. But still, just the whole optics of night one leading up to the pick, it looked really bad. Mentioned Jawan Jennings signed a 1-year deal worth up to $13 million with the Minnesota Vikings. Would have liked to have seen the Steelers maybe go after Jennings, really have a fantastic foursome at wide receiver, Jennings, Bernard, Metcalf, Pittman, but for $13 million, got to focus on making sure you get Rodgers back in the building, and also, maybe doing some extension work with Joey Porter Jr., Nick Herbig, Darnell Washington, those types of guys. So $13 million saved for the Steelers right there. I'm pretty fine with that. Mentioned rookie mini camps, for the Steelers and their roster. Not necessarily sure this guy is a rookie, though. He's sort of like in the Chase Claypool range of a veteran getting invited to rookie minicamp. Scotty Miller, former Steeler wide receiver. He is at the Bears rookie minicamp. Maybe Scotty Miller latches on with that team. Was he there before? Or am I thinking of someone else? I know Scotty Miller was a former Tampa Bay Buccaneer. Something tells me he was a former Chicago Bear too, but cannot remember. This more national NFL news right here. Looks like the NFL schedule is going to be released next week on Thursday, May the 14th. And rumors are circulating out there that the Steelers could be playing another international game, and the opponent reportedly could be the Jacksonville Jaguars. There's a couple international games that will be announced on Wednesday. So we could know the first game on the schedule for the Steelers coming up on Wednesday at 9 a.m. We'll see if they go back across the pond again, maybe to a London or something like that. Also, the NFL and the NFL Referees Association, they did today reach an agreement on a 7-year CBA, collective bargaining agreement. So no sort of replacement referees. Instead of getting absolutely abysmal refereeing from replacement officials this upcoming season, we still get the same old controversial refereeing as always, which I guess, hey, better to work with the devil you know than the devil you don't in that case. Rapid fire here through the rest of stuff that could relate to the Steelers. The Indianapolis Colts, they released corner Kenny Moore. He requested a trade this offseason, and now the Colts have granted his release. If the Steelers want to bolster their secondary even more, getting Kenny Moore, he can play, safety and slot corner, then you'd really be cooking with gas there in the secondary if you're the Steelers. All of a sudden, you look as a quarterback. All right, Joey Porter Jr. on one side, Jamel Dean on the other. Got Jalen Ramsey or Kenny Moore working the slot. The other, whoever's not playing the slot, will be back as a safety. Where you also got Deshaun Elliott and Jaquan Brisker back there. That'd be pretty intimidating there if you are an NFL quarterback and a NFL offensive coordinator. Last few things here. Apparently, Brendan Sorsby, college quarterback, formerly of Cincinnati, I think currently of Texas A&M. He could be entering the supplemental NFL draft because of his whole gambling issue situation in college football. Could lose, I should say, eligibility to continue playing college football. And if that is the case and, he loses whatever appeal he's going through right now, he could enter the supplemental draft, which would be basically a silent auction for this player where, teams would have the same draft order as this past draft, and they would go, down the list here. All right, who would give up a first round pick for this guy? Nobody bids. All right, how about second? What teams would give up a second round pick for this guy? And that would not happen either. This Sorsby projected to be one of the top quarterback prospects in this next year's draft, the 2027 draft. And who knows if he does enter the supplemental draft, could the Steelers give up a third round pick for Sorsby, get another young quarterback in the fold, a second, something like that. If they were going to potentially use a first round pick on this guy next year, you could get him for a bargain. Would not give up a first, though. That is for damn sure. In the last two things here, this is pretty cool. The Steelers are putting up for sale old seats from the 500 level of Acrisure Stadium. Remember, the Acrisure Stadium underwent a project this offseason where they replaced some seats in the upper bowl of the stadium behind the Steelers bench. And they replaced them with some, scattershot black seats. It really made no sense, putting in those black seats or really replacing the seats at all. Anyways, the seats going up for sale. They will be refurbished and delivered fully assembled. Single seats, $399. Pair seats, $599. So basically $300 a seat if you want an Acrisure Stadium seat. And the last thing for the Steelers today, happy birthday to the Chin. Legendary Steelers head coach Bill Cowher celebrating his birthday today. Also celebrating birthdays today, moving over to Penguins hockey, forward Kevin Hayes. Pretty much a depth forward for the Pens this past season, but Kevin Hayes, cool dude nonetheless. Also, Harrison Brunick, prospect defenseman for the Penguins, currently playing for the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton Penguins in the AHL playoffs. He celebrates a birthday today as well. Speaking of the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton Penguins, congratulations to them. Last night, dominant 4-1 victory over the Hershey Bears. They win the second round series, I believe, against the Bears 4-1, and now they move on to the Atlantic Division Final. And the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton Penguins, they're hot right now. They're doing well in playoffs. They advance once again. Sergei Miroshov between the pipes down there, going to be a NHL goaltender for the Pens next year. He is absolutely outstanding between the pipes. Young guys like Avery Hayes, Rutger McGroarty, Ville Koivunen, they are looking good in these playoffs as well. Maybe they get another look in the NHL next season as well. And the last thing here for the Pens, this pretty cool here. The IIHF, International Ice Hockey Federation World Championship Tournament, sort of like a, lesser version of the Olympics. Those are taking place here, I believe, starting next week, a week and a half from now. Anyways, some, but not all NHL stars are going to be playing in this tournament. 3 Penguins, at least to my knowledge thus far, are going to be representing their countries in this tournament. You have Tommy Novak and Connor Clifton. They will be representing Team USA in the Men's World Tournament. Team USA's roster, actually, fairly decent. I think the biggest name here on this list is Matthew Tkachuk, but there are, some decent up-and-coming NHLers. Matt Coronado of the Calgary Flames, James Hagens, top prospect forward for the Boston Bruins. You got, I believe here, Ryan Leonard of the Washington Capitals. Forgot there for a second. Sam Lafferty's on the team as well. Former Penguin and Pittsburgh native defense. You got Connor Clifton, Justin Falk, pretty good NHL defenseman. Mason Lowry, same thing. They are on the team. And the goaltenders, Joseph Woll will probably end up being the starter, the goaltender for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Still absolutely crazy and probably rigged that they ended up winning the Gavin McKenna sweepstakes the other night. And the other Penguin, the third Penguin representing his country in this IIHF Men's World Tournament, Parker Wotherspoon is going to be playing for Team Canada. Very deserving, after the season he just did, exceeded all of our expectations as probably the Pens' best shutdown defensive defenseman. And Canada, had a good feeling that Team USA was going to give Canada a run for their money in the Olympics. And we knew that this was the best chance for the United States to upset Canada in the Olympics with the roster they had back in February. For this tournament, though, the IIHF World Tournament, Canada would not be shocked if they run away with it. They still got some legit, and I mean legit, NHL talent playing in this tournament. Matt Barzal of the Islanders, Macklin Celebrini of the Sharks, Dylan Cousins, Ryan O'Reilly, Mark Scheifele, John Tavares, maybe future Penguin this offseason, Robert Thomas of the Blues. Those are some forwards for Canada. Evan Bouchard, top defenseman for the Oilers, is on the team. Same thing with Darnell Nurse of the Oilers. Morgan Riley of the Leafs is on the team. Zach Whitecloud, Sam Dickinson, young defenseman for the Sharks. And that's a pretty solid lineup for Team Canada. Where they could be had, though, is in goal. Really, their top two goaltenders, Jet Greaves of the Columbus Blue Jackets, had a decent season with the Jackets, but nothing to be intimidated about. And Cam Talbot, who is on the brink of retirement. So that is the latest there for the Penguins. I believe there was just one extra Pirate news story for the day, and that is that they made a roster move going back to yesterday. Chris Davinsky, who was suspended for 3 games, I believe that suspension is now served. Did not see him at all in the series against the Diamondbacks due to his 3-game suspension. He was placed on the 15-day IL with an undisclosed illness. With that, Cam Sanders, who is on the taxi squad, has officially been recalled from AAA Indianapolis. So that's the latest there for the Buccos, and it's all eyes on them tonight, at least for a little bit before we all fall asleep, as they begin a new series with the San Francisco Giants. That pretty much does it here for the news here today. Looking see even if there's anything else going on before we log off here tonight. Just reading this here from Frank Saravalli of TSN, NHL Insider. Jason Robertson of the Stars, Pens may have their eyes on him. He's one of those restricted free agents that, due to his current team being slammed up against the cap, he could be dealt, and Penguins could be in on this young budding star. Robertson looking for well north of $12 million that his teammate Mikko Rantanen signed for. Does he come down on that ask, or does he essentially force his way out? We'll see. $12 million is a lot for, Jason Robertson. He is a, very productive goal scorer, but a guy that isn't going to, provide you much, in terms of stepping in as a center. I don't think he's all that much of a penalty kill guy as well. If I'm going to pay, north of $12 million for a guy, I want him to, not be a jack of all trades, but at least, be able to provide a little bit something in the areas that, he's not majoring in. It's a lot, $12 million for Jason Robertson, but hey, you get a young goal scorer in here. If you're Kyle Dubas, I'm not going to complain too much at the end of the day. $12 million, Bucks or the Pirate. Oh my goodness, the Penguins. Certainly they have the money to do so. You can tell it's the end of the week. Jumping all over the place here. Looking here, is there anything else, or is that going to be a show? Probably going to be a show. Let's do see this here as well. Forgot to mention this in the extra hockey news portion of the program. Anybody enjoying their beautifully unfolding hate watch of the Philadelphia Flyers against the Carolina Hurricanes? You want to talk about men among, boys out there, damn near infants. The Flyers just getting dominated by the Hurricanes, and you absolutely love to see it if you are Penguins fans. Looking here, anything else? Not seeing it, so that is going to do it tonight, ladies and gentlemen, on the channel, and that is going to do it for the week as well. This was a pretty good week. Trying to remember how we recap. Trying to remember a recap of the week here. We, of course, had the Aaron Rodgers news today. We talked about the Evgeny Malkin thing and him possibly, reaching an agreement here, hopefully, with the Penguins. Going to have a meeting with Kyle Dubas sometime here soon, hopefully. The Buccos, they keep doing their thing. Beat the hell out of the Cincinnati Reds. Now the Reds have gone from heroes to zeros in the division. Bucks continue to roll along against the Diamondbacks, and hopefully they continue this pretty good baseball they're playing against the Giants. And the Steelers got rookie numbers. Rookie OTAs, I believe, are starting here, and now it's on to the rest of the offseason for the black and gold. Hopefully this Aaron Rodgers thing comes to a conclusion, maybe by Monday. Who knows? I doubt it, but, you can always hold out hope. So that's going to do it for tonight. I want to thank you all. Appreciate you all stopping by, as always, and contributing in the comments section. Shout out to Concepts, Echelon, Truth, however many else of you were in the comments section here tonight. Appreciate you all. And we'll reconvene back here on Monday, permitting any sort of massive breaking news that we would go live for on the weekend as well. I'm tired, exhausted, if you can't tell, so going to call things there. Have a good rest of your Friday night, ladies and gentlemen. Go, tune on at least a little bit of the Bucks game later tonight. See how that goes. Go find some NHL playoff hockey. Even though the Penguins are out, that still is very entertaining to watch. And just relax tonight. And let's all have a good weekend and reconvene back here on Monday and talk about it. So have a good rest of your Friday night, ladies and gentlemen. On your way out, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so that you never miss a thing here on the channel again. Like this live stream, share, leave a comment in the comment section after the fact. Go check out the channel at Steel City SR on Facebook, Instagram, and X. And tune back in at some point later on tonight for a new edition of SCSR 60. Thank you all. Have a good rest of your Friday nights. See you back here on Monday with more Pittsburgh sports news. Peace.